Yeah, it goes everybody. Today we'll continue on with a game called Danganronpa SINGLEFILE. Where were we? Here? Yeah. But the smile she's on her face as she watches rows of brightly lit monitors inside the dim room is a bit unnerving. What should I do? Speak to the girl watching the monitors. Excuse me, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Just a moment, please. I was expecting more of a reaction, being that I stuck upon her in an eerie place like this. She's surprisingly calm. I can't help but think she knew I was coming. Is she monitoring the perimeter through those monitors? It's not as though monitoring the premises inside a killing game automatically makes you the mastermind, but it is a tad suspicious.
I am the ultimate researcher.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Victor Leeds, specializing in the study of disparate killing games.
I'm the ultimate comms officer. Feel free to tell me anything.
I'm barely listening. Barely listening, lol. Ultimate comms officer, okay. You said you study killing games, then you certainly fit right in here, huh? What do you mean by that? Oh, well, we were all recruited for that, huh? A killing game?
Negative.
No, don't jump at shadows. What you're seeing here is clearly a training exercise designed to emulate a killing game. I only meant that if the Future Foundation scouted all of us as those with talents that were best suited for assembling the perfect counterforce to disparate games, it only makes sense they pulled a researcher who specializes in those. You're a rare find. Well, thank you, but I wasn't aware of this background, so according to Miss Listenin, the Future Foundation recruited everyone in this game as part of some training exercise. Of course, I suspect that's just a premise. I don't have any such memories myself, and Miss Xavier didn't mention this earlier. Did you have other questions? I know I'm up here by myself, but I love to gab.
Absolutely fascinating.
Want to know about everyone on the island? I've already collected a lot of intel. Ask away. I feel as though several invasions of privacy have already been committed here. Reaping the fruits of those crimes could make me a guilty party, so let's focus on Miss Listenin herself for now. That said, she seems as though she's dying to be questioned. What should I ask Miss Listenin about? About yourself. I'd like to know more about your title as the Ultimate Comms Officer.
Did I hear that right?
About me? Well, I guess I could talk about me. It's not really a glamorous talent, you know. It just means that I'm the best at managing communications. I guess I'm pretty good at it. I'm an all-in-one data collector and transmitter. The comms officers typically collect data. You almost sound like a researcher.
Negative.
Well, seems very defensive all of a sudden. I think I hit a nerve. There's a lot that goes through communication channels. You know, when I say collect, I really mean it just passes in one ear and out the other. It's not like I'm trying to build records on anybody, it just naturally happens over time.
Now see here!
That sounds highly illegal.
Negative.
No, you got it all wrong. It's a talent. The Future Foundation said it's a talent, so I can spy on everyone all I want.
Absolutely fascinating.
And no one is better at it than me. I can use drones, wiretaps, bugs, you name it. I'm also really good at getting people to open up. My word, for a person who spends so much time studying communications, she's lacking in debate skills.
Now see here!
I'm not meaning to disparage your ability as the ultimate comms officer, it's just that this sounds more like you're the ultimate spy.
You're not seeing the whole picture.
Ooh, I'm not. I'm a dedicated comms officer who just happens to overhear people's juiciest, most incriminating private statements. I can't help it if a high-ranking military officer forgets I'm licking the call and start talking about his sexual preferences. Or that one time with that certain elected official, that thing with all the bananas. Are you bragging or trying to defend yourself?
Negative.
Oh, sorry, I just love to learn about other people. Their lives are so interesting. Sometimes I get a bit nosy. Can we talk about something else now? I don't actually like to talk about, me.
Very well.
Fair enough, I'm a bit of a private person myself.
Goodbye.
Arya, sounds like we just have something in common. Do you want to talk about it? Perhaps something embarrassing happened to you in school that made you withdraw away from your peers. Or is it some kind of physical deformity? Grr, keeping my guard up around you is going to be a challenge. She has the curiosity of a researcher or a tabloid journalist. About the game. Ah, this is a very convincing killing game setup, isn't it? They even had us unconscious before they brought us here. One could be almost fooled into thinking it was a real game. But it's pretty obviously just a training exercise. After all, if it was a real killing game, wouldn't we all have amnesia? It seems to me everyone remembers everything. Well, except for the part where we were abducted. That part's pretty unclear. Yes, it is highly unusual for any killing game participant to remain cognizant of details regarding the Agents of Despair. But I don't want you lowering your guard just because it seems different. It could be all the more reason to stay alert.
Confirmed.
Affirmative. You have nothing to worry about. I'm always alert. It's other people who tend to let their guard down. You might want to try to get a handle of that suspicious behavior of yours as well. You don't want others turning on you.
Confirmed.
It'll be fine. After all, I'm just a humble comms officer. Most people won't even remember I'm here. In a cast of characters like this, I just fade into the background. That's the way it happened last time. Oh, I didn't mention, I was in a different killing game before, as were most of the others. Really, would you mind telling me a bit about it?
Did I hear that right?
I think maybe I'd better ask. I'd better
Now see here.
Ask who and what?
Don't mind me.
Never mind, I'm not ready to talk about it. It was highly traumatic. This gossiper's clammed up. Seems she's not going to tell me about her experience so easily. Moreover, it sounds like somebody else is holding her leash. Whatever happened in that killing game past, it must involve someone who Miss Listen has ready access to, even stranded here on the island. About the situation here at the comms tower. Sitting here watching everyone on monitors during a killing game is very suspicious behavior.
Negative.
I must protest. If you look closely, there's only one camera source. It's a miniature surveillance drone. I can operate it from here and use it to take pictures and record video and audio. What a handy tool.
Impossible.
Aren't you worried someone will protest and destroy it?
Negative.
Again, there are rules against destroying cameras here after all. What if someone were to steal it?
Negative.
Well, it'd be pointless, you see. The controls are all encoded to this console, and apparently my thumbprint is the only one that unlocks it. Although I have to take off my mittens, but just when I turn the device on.
Very well.
It's not exactly mitten weather in the first place, but I see your point. The rules do seem to make it risky to attempt to interfere with your surveillance drone.
Now see here.
That's actually a bit worrisome. Could I ask you to not pry into people's private affairs, Miss Listenin?
Don't mind me.
I'm not prying, I'm just learning more about them. I'm a comms officer after all. If I see you all as comrades who are going to need my assistance, then it makes sense for me to keep my eyes and ears open. You understand, right? You're a killing games researcher.
Absolutely fascinating.
Wouldn't it be great to have extra camera footage during one of those trials? Just imagine. Everything would be so easy to prove. No more he said, she said, just the facts.
Now see here.
It could be, or it could be used to obfuscate the truth. If you're a potential killer, how can we trust your camera footage?
Did I hear that right?
Me? I would have hurt a fly. Just look at me. Now, Miss Listen, remember, I am a killing games specialist. I know a thing or two about seemingly harmless people committing murders. I'll have my eye on you as well.
Impossible.
Did I hear a chirping noise just now?
Negative.
No, I don't think I heard anything. Oh, it was probably a mechanical chirp. From the console.
Confirmed.
That was definitely it. Why must everything surrounding you be so bloody suspicious?
Don't mind me.
My sincerest apologies. No matter, just know that I'll have my eyes and ears open. Likewise. That's all for now. God, I love this music. Well, at least now I'm getting closer to being as informed about you as you are about me. I guess that's fair. But I'll pass you again soon enough. Nobody overhears as much individual private info as me.
Impossible.
Miss Listen, I'm begging you to not advertise that fact. Head somewhere else. That will be all for now, Miss Listening. Please, I urge you to join the others and try to leave their private affairs alone. Ooh, okay. I'll meet up with them soon. But you know, I think we're more alike than you think, Victor. You find other people fascinating, don't you? You want to know what makes them tick.
Absolutely fascinating.
I'm just the same way, a people watcher.
Impossible.
You're mistaken there. I prefer machines to people. I'm not concerned with individuals. Rather, I care about the broad-scale war between civilized society and despair.
Now see here.
Not to be harsh, but when you talk about being interested in people's sexual preferences, I couldn't care less. All I want to do is know the killing games inside and out so I can thwart despair. And that at times means studying the actors.
Negative.
Oh, so you don't care about the kind of stuff. Not even interesting things like their kinks? So you probably wouldn't be embarrassed at all to tell me yours.
Very well.
Of course not. It's trivial. For instance, Wait, damn it all. Stop trying to profile me. Almost got him. I leave the giggling girl to march back downstairs, but I still feel her eyes on me somehow. watching you fall for her tricks was pretty funny. Shouldn't you be an expert in character analysis with all your experience?
Now see here.
She does have a way of making one let their guard down. She seems so harmless until suddenly you realize you're spilling your guts. But on that note, I feel she has a secret or two she's protecting herself.
Of course.
I'm more worried about the camera she's operating. Be careful where you decide to chat with me. If anyone hears you and I talking about robots and mock killing games, it's going to get complicated. Of course. I must say, I'm not looking forward to you and Miss listening both watching my every move.
Don't be an idiot.
I think that you assume you're a lot more interesting than you really are, Victor. With nothing else to say in my defense, I turn my attention back to the controls on my pad. Where to go next? We are done with the academy mess hall. I've had nothing to eat since I woke up. It wouldn't hurt to stop by the kitchen. Even the organizers of killing games don't typically want their participants dying of starvation. We ought to have food on hand. There's also a decent chance others will have gathered there. They must be as hungry as I am. Unless Ms. Xavier is correct and they're all robots, then they probably wouldn't need to eat at all. The mess hall appears to have been sized for the killing game rather than a full-on military academy. It's rather cozy. 4 tables have been set up, simple affairs with backless benches. We could honestly probably squeeze in around just 2. I suspect the extras are to allow us to spread out during meals if we were so inclined. A small lunch line counter is set up on one side, also functioning as a kitchen. Various implements such as a stove, dishwashing station, and etc. can be seen further beyond. Behind all that is a double flapping door, which I must assume leads to a storage area and perhaps a freezer, if we're lucky. The monopad is a little more information about the amenities here. Amenities. The compact size actually makes it feel like we have more than is needed to live comfortably here. At long last, I spot a man in the kitchen area. It took me a while because his manner of dress camouflages him with the kitchenware. Still, I can't believe I missed him. He's extremely large and covered from head to toe in metal. He'd stick out like a sore thumb anywhere you put him. He appears to be inspecting all of the equipment in the kitchen. That band of knives around the barrel of his garbage can suit draws my attention. If a person this large with this many weapons decided to attack me, I could be the earliest killing game victim in history. I go up and remain quiet for a bit longer, trying to summon up my courage to approach the mess hall's only other occupant. Ultimately, the grumbling of my own stomach urges me to make my move. What should I do? Do the only thing we have, instead of choosing other things. Speak to the large man in the kitchen. Excuse me, sir, is there food to be had? Food and camaraderie. I believe we two are as of yet unacquainted. His behavior doesn't match his appearance at all, not that I'm complaining.
I am the ultimate researcher.
Oh, I beg your pardon, I am Victor Leeds. I am specializing in the study of dispersed killing games.
Good to meet you. I am the ultimate provisioner. Leave everything to me.
Kobe, eat bro. Oh, so is some chef or something? Provisioner, I see. Is that why you've taken up the serving station in the mess hall?
As you wish.
Precisely. In addition, much of the stock of this kitchen is held behind a lock that only I can open. A peculiar element of these circumstances. So you suspect, I take it, that we're being held inside another killing game? Yeah, however, fear not. I have made it my last mission to protect all who find themselves in such peril.
Bon appetit!
Vigilance starts in the kitchen. Under my watch, everyone will stay healthy, nourished, content, and energized. All meals must be served without disease or poison, of course. I plan to personally test every meal for poison.
Now see here.
Aren't you afraid you might be killed yourself by that method? What if the food is poisoned?
As you wish.
A small price to pay for everyone else's safety, I'd say. My word, his intentions are good, but his methods are less those of a protecting knight and more those of a sacrificial pawn. I'm going to have to dissuade him from that goal. But first, ahem, I will have a bowl of that stew if you don't mind. Oh oui, Monsieur Leeds. While I am not yet aware of your palate, I hope this humble meal will suffice. He said humble, but as his ladle stirs the broth, I begin to see seafood emerge to the top, including lobster meat. The rich scent of butter rising up from the stew is driving me insane. It is my fashion to eat modestly, as I could chew only what is grown on this small island. What part of this is humble? I'm salivating like a dog.
Bon appetit!
Lunch is served. Bon appetit. I can barely get my own words of thanks around my own spoon as I hungrily shovel the stuff into my mouth. I've never tasted food like this. What luck that this man should be one of the few trapped in here with me. Would you care for a spot of conversation with your lunch? You seem the inquisitive sort. Why, yes, actually, but give me just a moment longer with the stew first.
As you wish.
But of course. What should I ask? About yourself. You said you're called the ultimate provisioner. Why that as opposed to, for instance, the ultimate chef?
As you wish.
Not to disparage the profession, but you must understand that my work as a chef is nothing compared to my work as a provisioner. To train as a chef is a noble endeavor, choosing the proper seasonings and arrangements to please the eye and the taste buds c'est magnifique.
Bon appetit!
However, the work of a provisioner is to identify what people need and then prepare and portion it accordingly. This is what I am best at. I see that you identified the need for seafood stew here in this instance.
As you wish.
You'll recognize that unfortunately I had yet to make your acquaintance or that of any others until this meal. As such, I prepared a meal that boosts morale in the average case among those of all classes, with a backup dish for those with seafood allergies or an aversion to meat. As no one demonstrates such allergies, I have saved the vegan stroganoff for someone's late night snack. It may be found in the refrigerator if you need it. So everyone enjoyed the meal, I take it. You've had a chance to meet them all?
As you wish.
I am unaware of how many are currently here on the island. However, I have greeted 9 individuals by now. A fine collection of young people. Nearly all of them are Killing Game survivors. They remind me a bit of my support group. A support group for Killing Game survivors? No, Monsieur Leeds. A support group for those who fear killing games. But that said, who fears a killing game like one who's been unfortunate enough to experience a game already? You think so? I would imagine the first success ought to boost their optimism. Of course, I recognize there is a mental toll, but looking at it objectively, I'd imagine prior experience would help inform one's next encounter. Assuming all of those memories were not erased, of course. He's clammed up. I can tell something about this topic doesn't agree with him.
Never!
I can't leave behind those in my support group, but I won't abandon those captives trapped inside this new game either. Let's all work together to escape. About the game? This is not my first time enjoying a killing game. Although the setup here is clearly different from the first I participated in, I'm still holding out hope that this is all some training exercise, but I fear the worst. Tell me more about your first killing game, if you wouldn't mind. He's broke into a cold sweat again. Could it be that the game traumatized him? Pardon, Monsieur Leeds, it is difficult to talk about that game, Kuma's Kitchen. It was a time of unspeakable horrors. In that dreadful game, only the mastermind and I escaped alive. That's terrible. I've never heard of such a miserable end to a killing game.
No way.
Oui, my failure in that game haunts me to this day. To think that I would be the only survivor among all those fine people. I tarnished my name as the ultimate provisioner that day. No one was provided for. They all perished.
Now see here.
You mustn't blame yourself for that, Mr. Eatwell. Despair's terrorism has no culprit but the agents of despair.
What a disgrace.
Monsieur Leeds, I believe that allies of hope who are not suitably diligent may as well be agents of despair. Ever since that failure, I've trained for this day. I swore that if I ever found myself in that situation again, I would do everything that is necessary to protect people. I'll step in front of a bullet if I must. You mustn't. That armor you're wearing can possibly stop gunfire. You may be surprised. I have tested its qualities. It is quite durable. I recommended the other armor themselves as well, but none were receptive. You're not terribly mobile in that getup, are you? That is one of the weaknesses, it's true. All the same, I believe it'll be difficult to assassinate me with either a gun or a blade with this armor. All of the implements inside the kitchen are amazingly durable. Carving them into armor took considerable work. I personally think you may be understanding the ingenuity of killers. Your armor may not be worth what you lose in mobility.
Forgive me, but...
I'll consider your words. About the situation here at the Best Hall. It's actually rather peaceful here. Working for a small clientele without such lofty expectations is actually a nice change of pace. Not that cooking is ever truly difficult compared to what else a man may endure. No matter the dish nor the client, it's usually quite simple. Did you know I cooked the date night meal for the Prime Minister of France and her significant other? The meal that saved the most beloved couple in France, some call it. No pressure at all then. Perhaps I feel a bit too feeling my nerves on that one. However, this role is much more important. You have to support everyone so that we can work together to find our way out of this one. To that end, I will be ready whenever anyone needs nourishment or whatever other service I may provide.
Very well.
I very appreciate that, Mr. Eatwell. Let's none of us waste our talents that could allow us to escape together. That's all for now. Thank you for the enlightening conversation and an excellent meal. Happy to be of service, Monsieur Leeds. Monsieur? If you don't mind my sake, I've noticed something curious. You're the only among the group who has not protested to this master and servant treatment. Yeah, that was rather rude of me, wasn't it? I've allowed you to treat me as your better. But I'm the one treating you that way. It's hardly your mistake. Certainly no reason to apologize. It just made me think that you must have grown up in a setting where such a thing was normal. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I did grow up rather wealthy with a staff to attend to me.
Now see here.
But that's the distant past. I don't plan to live a spoiled, dependent lifestyle now.
As you wish.
I understand, but you may depend on me, for your meals at least. Allow me to do that much.
What a disgrace.
My ineptitude and inability to solve the puzzle posed by Kuma's kitchen is what led to so many deaths. If I can't be the one to solve the mystery behind the killing games, then I at least want to support those who may. It's not good for him to have so little confidence in his reasoning abilities. He could play right into a killer's hands if this makes it to trial. Head somewhere else. I shall leave this place for now, but I am certain I will be back for dinner. Now that I'm saying you should plan to cook for me, you should leave the cooking to others now and then.
As you wish.
Now, I told you not to trouble yourself. I'm happy to cook for everyone. I just bit my tongue to stop myself from saying something terrible. With the way he's acting, I'm not sure we can count on him to be around to keep cooking for us. Yeah, it's like raising a death flag. I know that staying in the kitchen all the time will make his movements predictable, and all that time with him alone would make the perfect time to murder him. Unmoving. With his inherent propensity for self-sacrifice, the man seems destined not to make it to the end of this killing game. Yeah. It makes me think I need to protect him, rather than the other way around. Well, Mr. Evil seems like someone we ought to be able to depend on. He has a bit of a scary outward appearance, but his personality couldn't be farther from it.
Don't be an idiot.
Ha, I thought you'd seen enough killing games that you wouldn't fall for that kind of act. Is it different when a potential killer cooks you soup? All it takes to dull your edge is a little home cooking, huh? This is a costly experiment. Try to take it seriously instead of treating it like some sort of vacation where you're pampered by a 5-star chef.
Now see here.
I'm not discounting the possibility that he may be hiding some secrets. We still don't know about the killing game of his, after all. It's just an honest evaluation. He gives me the impression of someone I can count on. Unlike a certain someone who's been needling me in an antagonistic way ever since I woke up in my lab.
Don't be an idiot.
If you're telling me I should cook for you, keep dreaming.
Now see here.
That isn't what I meant to imply at all. But can you cook, Miss Xavier? I don't have the talent myself, so I must admit, I'm curious if a robot of mine could be capable. She cut off the connection. We're done with the mess hall barracks. If this is indeed a killing game, or a mock killing game, then I imagine the barracks are intended to stand in for a dormitory. Someone is certain to be checking out their rooms and getting settled in, after all. Moving all about the island and being social has been tiresome for me. Some people feel most comfortable closed up, away from others. Say as Miss Xavier has taken my old room adjacent to my laboratory, I do hope that the barracks will have a decent sleeping arrangements. If we're all sleeping together in bunk beds parallel to each other, that seems like an insufferable despair-inducing arrangement. Or maybe that is the point of it. It's all part of the plan. The barracks building is quite small. From a distance, I could already tell it would hold little besides the bedrooms. I can be happy about that. At least it does have multiple bedrooms, and each appears to have its own bathroom. In classic fashion, the rooms are each marked with a visual depiction of the room's occupants. A few of the faces are recognizable by this point. The barracks has 2 hallways intersecting in a V shape with 6 doors on one leg and 6 on the other, requiring 12 participants. Ostensibly, one half belongs to the gentlemen and the other to the ladies, though that could be a mistaken assumption on my part. Several of the figures are matched in ways that makes it difficult to confirm their gender in these crude drawings. A stray thought prompts me to contact Miss Xavier. Excuse me, but do you know if they are meant to sleep in the barracks with everyone else, or will you be using my accommodations?
Don't be an idiot.
I'm not sleeping in your bed, idiot. I don't intend to spend the night there, and I doubt the rules would allow me to. Unless you're also going to be allowed to sleep in the server room. As comfortable as I feel around computers, That would be a bit much. I dismiss Miss Xavier for now and focus my attention on the interior halls of the barracks. I've noticed a few figures on the woman's side. The first is a young girl, slight in stature. She barely looks to crest the 17 requirement and will be studied in Western military academies. On the other hand, she's otherwise quite at home in the setting. Her military fatigues are at stark odds with my lab coat. She certainly doesn't look afraid to be here. Further down at the end of the hallway is an ominous figure dressed from head to toe in black. She looks, there's no denying that she looks exactly like the captive leading the debate in my dream earlier, or perhaps the victim. The two were dressed similarly. Seeing her here causes me to shiver. Where else could I have seen her before this encounter? Perhaps somewhere in my missing memories? They're inspecting the rooms and haven't seen me yet. I'll try not to startle them as I introduce myself. What should I do? Excuse me, miss. Consider yourself unexcused, greenhorn. Excuse me?
You maggot!
I said no excuses. You're unexcused. I want you to try it again with a proper salute from the belly. Give me your name and assignment.
I am the ultimate researcher.
Victor Leeds, ma'am. Specializing in the study of killing games, ma'am.
Darn tootin'.
Now that's more like it. You got it in ya, Vicky. Just take somebody like me to pull it out of ya.
Very well.
Now, yeah, speaking of which, your name is...
I'm the ultimate drill sergeant. If I can't whip y'all into shape, nobody can.
Debbie Deadeye Dunaway. That's a long name. Oh, are you an instructor here at the school? Huh, not hardly. I'm a student just like all of y'all. That don't mean I don't plan to exercise my acumen to make y'all into some proper soldiers, though. After all, that's what we're here for, right? The Future Foundation recruited all of us to be the Special Ops. We're gonna be the first generation of anti-despair super soldiers. I think that super soldiers might be a bit much, but I see where you're getting at. Do you think that all of this is part of their plan, a training exercise?
Darn tootin'.
Well, what else could it be? Land sakes, you can see all the work they put into it, can't you? Here's an exact recreation of one of those...
Killing game.
Ain't we lucky? We're gonna be the first ones to break her in. I can't wait to see what kind of drills they got in store for us. You say they, but have you seen any Future Foundation staff since you arrived here? Not hide nor hair of them, but that's just part of the training exercise. Wouldn't it be very believable if we had a teacher showing us what to do? Now this here is trial by fire. We're all coroners that's done gone straight into the skillet. Skillet? Okay.
Now see here.
I don't plan on becoming Cornish, thank you. About yourself. Now shucks, ain't much to say you can't see by looking at me.
Very well.
Well, tell me about being the ultimate drill sergeant. What does that entail?
Darn tootin'.
Well, I all got different talents, Vicky, and mine just happens to be polishing the talents of others. Just before I was recruited here, I attended the Bright Futures Juvenile Academy. Those tough classes molded me like coal into a diamond. My classes and me got in so tight, folks called us Platoon, Deadeye's Ringers. I led us a victory in the mock killing game exhibition. Mock killing game, you say? Hoot dog, it was the time of my life. Y'all should have seen my team and me. You were like a well-slapped hog out there.
Impossible.
I think the expression is well-oiled machine. Much to the point, I realized during all that mess McCallin to lead the soldiers of the future into a brighter tomorrow. To help rally my fellow students to stick one straight up Monokuma's tailpipe. To demolish despair. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but it is important to note your experience in a mock killing game may have colored your perception of what these games are like.
Now see here.
They're not fun. These games are despair given shape. They're sheer agony for its own sake. Whatever the Future Foundation told you, you can't understand that from training exercises.
Carnations.
Well, sheesh. We can't all have killing game experience when we're 18. Where'd you serve anyway? Oh, I've never been in an actual killing game before. You maggot, you talking to me like that when you ain't got any real experience under your belt neither.
Now see here.
I've studied more killing games than the average person knows exist, Miss Donaway. Your little videos and whatnot can't compare to my formal education and drill experience. I guess this will be good experience for you. Oh shit, god damn it. I have to end it here. I wanted to continue more. It's just that I've been very busy during the weekend because I'm doing some other stuff now. So yeah, this is Danganronpa single file. Fuck me. It feels so incomplete. I wanted to continue more, so god damn it. If you want to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. it's still not showable in itch.io. Like, why? That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.